So now we're adding fractions. Let's use this example. So it says that Tom ate 3/8 of the pizza and Jane ate 2/8 of the pizza. How much did they eat together? Well, if I draw like say a pizza over here with 8 equal slices, I could first show how much Tom ate by drawing one slice right here. Draw 2 slices, and since it's at 3/8, that means I have to draw 3 slices for Tom. So 1, 2, and 3. And it said that Jane ate 2/8 of the slice, so that means I have to add another 2 more slices that Jane ate. So here's one of that slice, and here is another one. So this is how much that they ate all together in a picture. But to know how many slices that they ate, I'll just count them. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means they ate 5 slices together out of 8 slices. And to write it numerically, that's like saying 5 out of 8. So that's our answer. Together, are Tom and Jane ate 5/8 of the pizza. Now, just doing it step by step, let's look through this. So the first step is to make sure that the denominator is the same. So if I look back and I look at the denominators, they are the same. So if I first write it, 3/8 plus 2/8. Yeah, the denominator are the same, where 8 is for the one that Tom ate, and the denominator for what Jane ate was 8. So they are the same. But if it wasn't the same, we need to find the LCM to get the common denominator. What LCM stands for is lowest common multiple. But in this case, we don't have to use that. And then what it says next is to multiply each fraction by the factor to get the common denominator. In this case, since it is already a common denominator, I don't have to do any of that. And then it says to add the numerator together. So let's add the numerators together by doing 3 plus 2 over 8. And that would give us 5 over 8. So if we do another example with different denominators, so let's see. Let's do 3/4 plus 1/3. I know that our lowest common multiple is by doing this chart, or this method. I could say 1, 4, 3. There's no other way. So I would multiply 1 times 4 times 3. So 1 times 4 gives me 4, and 4 times 3 gives me 12. So that means our common denominator is going to be 12. So what times 4 gives me 12? So if I divide 12 by 4, I would get 3. And what would I multiply 1/3 with to get the denominator 12? So if I divide 3 from 12, then my answer would be 4. So that means I have to multiply this fraction, the 3 out of 4 fraction, by 3, and the second fraction I would multiply it by 4. So I would get my first fraction to be 9 out of 12, and my second fraction to be 4 out of 12. So now that we did step 1, step 2, and step 3, we have to do step 4 is where we add the numerator together, and the denominator should always stay the same. It should always stay as the common denominator. We don't add, we don't subtract, we don't multiply, we don't do any of that. We will just keep it the same, and then we would add 9 with 4, and we get 13 over 12. Or we could even put it into a mixed number and have 1 whole and 1 over 12. Now with subtracting fractions, it's kind of the same thing. So in this example, we have Tom and Jane ate 7/8 of the pizza. Jane ate 3/8 of that pizza. How much did Tom eat? So in this case, we know that both of them ate 7/8 together, and Jane ate only 3/8 of the pizza. So first, if I show how much they ate together, that means I have to shade in 7 of these 8 slices. So here's one slice, here's another slice, here's the third slice that they ate together. So this is how much basically Jane ate. Jane ate basically 3 out of these 8 slices. So I have to draw the remaining slices that Tom ate. So I'll just use a different color to show how much Tom ate. So that was 3 slices. So now here's 4 slices in total. Here's 5 slices. Here's the 6th slice. And finally, the 7th slice that they ate together. So as you can see that they only have 1 slice remaining. And now we just count how much Tom ate. So let's see. We have 1 slice that Tom ate, 2 slices that Tom ate, 3 slices, 4 slices that Tom ate. So now we could say that Tom ate 4 slices out of 8 slices. And that's numerically saying Tom ate 4/8 of the slice. And just to simplify that, we could say that Tom ate half of the pizza. So if we write that algebraically, we would look at the steps over here. So it says that make sure that the denominators are the same. So we have 7/8 that they ate together, and we have 3/8 that Jane ate, and we could see that the denominators are the same. So step 2 and step 3 don't really apply to us, where it says if not, find the LCM, and LCM stands for lowest common multiple, to get a common denominator, and multiply each fraction by the factor to get the common denominator. So we don't need to do step 2 and step 3, we just skip to go to step 4, where it says subtract the numerators together. So I would do 7 minus 3, and we will leave the denominator as its common denominator, and then let's subtract it. So we get 4 out of 8, and then step 5 is simplify if needed. So as we could see, we could still simplify this by dividing each by 4, and we would end with the answer of 1/2. So our answer is Tom a 1/2 of the pizza. And let's say that we were doing subtracting fractions by different denominators. So let's have 4/5 minus 1/3. Or actually, let's do something a bit more challenging. Let's try 15. 1/15. So to find the lowest common multiple, we know we could do either this method where we have 5 over here, 15. Both of them could be divided by 5. So I would have 1 here and 3 there. That means I would have to multiply 5 with 1 and 3. So 5 times 1 gives me 5. And then 5 from here times 3 would give me 15. So we know our lowest common multiple is 15. So what times 5 would give me 15? So if I divide 5 with 15, I get 3. So that means I would have to multiply our first fraction by 3. And since our second fraction already has the denominator by 3, I'll just multiply it by 1, which means it's the same thing. So 4 times 3 gives me 12, and 5 times 3 gives me 15, and then I'll leave our second fraction the same, and then I would subtract the numerators together. So I would have 12 minus 1 over 15. And then if I subtract it, I get 11 over 15. And as we could see that we can't really simplify that, so it would stay like